all of your materials, and we'll get going. I'm going to share the screen real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and start that. All right, remember, don't use that chat to be a problem. Give me just a second here to type this stuff up. It's not a secret. Yes, choose an account. I'm going to type this. You Bradley, 5th grade. Seed Dispersal. This is the 15th. And then we'll go live. All right, letting that set up here real quick and making sure everything's live. There are some people that are there, so I'm going to try to flip back and forth and make sure we're live. Yep, see, there we go. All right, some people are there, some people are not, some people watch it, it's okay. All right, that's what it looks like. Okay, so here is what you need. If you have a cotton ball, great. If you have some seeds or a small bean seed, great. And then if you have a fan nearby, awesome. You could try it outside when it gets windier. If you have a fan, the more high power it is. If you have a leaf blower, even better, because the leaf blowers make things look really, really, really neat. There we go. I think there's some random drawing. There we go. Okay, and all of those things are interesting. All of those things that you guys can use. There's some other optional mutations that we'll talk about: tape, foil, Q-tips, all of those things. All right, so let's go ahead and get started when we talk about seed dispersal. Now, it is a perfect time of the year to talk about these things because it's planting season. Okay. I had to laugh because my wife teaches. She's laughing at some of her kids who are emailing her and saying, sorry, my assignments are coming in so late. I'm basically free farm labor right now. Some people are, some people aren't. Okay, it depends on where you live. All right, so with this seed dispersal, this is important to know because especially the maple trees are starting to bloom, create flowers. And those of you with allergies, you're getting super annoyed. Because it's making your nose and your eyes itch, which is great at this time when you shouldn't be touching your face, okay? So when we look at what we did last week, we did the bird beaks where we talked about adaptations, something that helps you survive better than others. We talked about beak types. We'll do, I think, one of these weeks we're gonna do butterflies. No, that's gonna be, no. Where did I put that? I thought I put it somewhere. I think we're going to do it with you guys. I think. I'm looking. Oh, no, it's a 6th grade one. Don't worry about that. Okay, so we know camouflage is a great one. All right, so when we look at it, make sure that when you do this, we can know which things are adaptations, something that helps you survive better than others. There are so many different types of seeds out there, different shapes, different sizes, different and unique. Okay, I'm starting to get things ready for my garden. I just planted a whole bunch of pea plants because snow peas are delicious. I'm still trying to figure out how people are annotating on my screen share, which is weird. Shouldn't be able to do that. No one should have control over that, which is interesting. Okay, I'll have to figure that out. All right, so thanks for leaving the screen. All right, I know you're probably figuring things out. That really is distracting. It makes things really difficult on me, guys. Okay, when we look at the difference in types of seeds, these look like elm trees, okay? These are definitely maple trees. Most of these are just tree leaves and tree seeds, things like that, okay? That's okay. Yeah, if your computer glitches, it's okay. I understand. Thanks, though. All right, when we also look at other shapes of seeds, seeds are great. Yes, snow peas, I just planted them about a week ago. Hopefully, they're starting to germinate. Right now is a good time if you have your garden tilled or you have a garden. Lettuces, your greens, peas, carrots, turnips, all of those things are good. I've got some spinach going. Right now inside, I've got tomatoes and pepper plants running. because they're going some flowers too. All right, so if we actually were to look at differences in seeds, I brought a whole bunch of different ones that I've got here at home because I can. All right, and if you look at the difference in shape, so I've got right here, I've got a whole bunch of, this is actually pink popcorn seeds. You can kind of see them there. Those are pink popcorn seeds. Very interesting. They actually do pop like popcorn. They taste interesting. I would take these out. I don't want to get any like extra. These are some mild, like spicy peppers, slightly. They taste really good. They're a really good one. They make a nice sweet, or not sweet, but like smoky and spicy flavor. I ground it all up into a chili powder. It's a really interesting, look at this color. It's a bright orange chili powder. Really, really tasty. I really like it. I've got some marigold seeds here. I'm going to put this Kleenex down I've got here so you guys can see it on that. I don't want to put the pepper seeds out because since it is a little bit of that capsaicin, which is the stuff that makes it spicy, I don't want to accidentally get it into my eyeballs. Here's some marigold seeds. I don't know if you've ever seen the marigold seeds. They are really weird. Look at how skinny and thin they are. This is what they make. Okay, remember, these are what most marigolds kind of look like. These are really skinny and weird, aren't they? Do you think, okay, those will go. All right, then I get to like basil. Basil is great for like pasta sauce. Hang on with your questions. I got a couple things. I'm going over just a few things here. All right, here are some basil seeds. Okay, basil is the stuff that makes pasta sauce and pizzas and spaghetti sauces taste really good. Okay, basil looks like these giant leaves. They're giant green leaves, but they're very fragrant. And they taste really good. Look at the size of them, though, okay? So we've got corn seeds. This is popcorn. I've got marigolds. I have some pepper seeds here, okay? And I've got some basil seeds, and they're all different sizes, okay? Some of them are much larger than others. Some of them are lighter. Some of them have unique designs. I'm going to try to clean up my mess here. Otherwise, I don't want to spill these all over the place. Plus, these are no, they're not very valuable. But they are really, really important seeds for me because I'm going to be planting them pretty soon, especially these marigolds. But notice they look almost like weird, skinny slivers. They're kind of weird. I already have zinnias going. Those are interesting, too. They kind of look like marigolds. The seed types all over the place are just very unique and very different. We're going to talk about some of them here real quick. All right, let me clean up my mess. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to clean up my mess here. So when we look at seeds, seeds can be a variety of shapes, sizes, and things. And yes, I saw somebody ask the question, do we have to do this? No, you don't have to do this with this. Can you use sunflower seeds? You can use sunflower seeds. The only issue with sunflower seeds, when we get to the activity, they're just big and they're kind of heavy. Small seeds work great. Freeman, yes, you're supposed to be here. This is actually an invitation for all of the ESU5. So right now I know that I've had Tri-County kids, I've had Beatrice, I have Fairbury, I have Freeman. I have people from all over, okay? This is out for everybody. So whatever seed you have available to you, great. I wouldn't use the outside shelled sunflower seeds. I'd use the inside sunflower kernel is what I would use. But that's just me, okay? So let's look at a few things here real quick. People are jumping in and out and great, okay? So when we look at seeds, some of them can float like dandelion seeds, which those of you who are doing that, you're ruining people's lawn. Yes, you can use whatever seeds you want. We'll get there, okay? Coconuts are seeds, okay? They have that tough outer shell so they can fall off of very tall trees, not break open. And the other thing is that they will float and they can make it through the oceans and go from island or from area to area, all right? If we look at these are sticky burrs, okay? You've all probably seen them. You've all probably been poked by them. You've all been probably covered by them. These are helicopters. Awesome. Come off of maple trees. They'll probably be coming out in about, well, I'm looking at the maple tree right outside my window here in about a week or two, maybe a few weeks, okay? These are little hooks that are on there. They actually kind of help develop Velcro. They're the kind of the little plants that are very, I call it sticky weed because it is very hairy. It clings to your clothes, and whenever you try to like pull onto it, the hairs on it latch onto you. It should start sprouting pretty soon. It's really, really, really annoying to get out of flower beds and things like that because you pull on it and it sticks to your hand because the little tiny hairs hook in, and the seeds are like little black tiny fuzzy things. Those are how we get Velcro. The guy took the idea of Velcro from these seeds under a microscope. Wild. Okay? These are, I think these are called touch me nots. You touch the seed pod, it explodes. All right? These are fruits. Fruits are by far the best way to move one thing to another. Okay? The reason why it's such a good thing to move one thing from another, because most of the time birds and other things eat them, and they're deposited wherever with free fertilizer. Okay? Easy. All right? Why do you want to disperse? It's all about being spread out. Okay? The further you are away from each other in nature, the better off you're going to be. Okay? If you think about when farmers plant, they plant pretty dense. Okay? They plant in rows. They're pretty dense rows, but do each of those plants have space to grow? Yeah, they do. Okay? Some of them grow taller than others. But if you think about those, and I think about my garden, and I think about the grove of trees that I kind of have down around, each one of those needs some space. They're not smashed in right next to each other. They're usually spread out a little bit. Everything needs space. You guys probably need space from your brothers, sisters, parents, whatever. It's not much fun right now to be kind of stuck at home. Okay? A lot of you are going, man, I'd rather be back in school. Some of you are. Some of you are like, whatever. Some of you have space, some of you don't. Okay? It's tough for me because I want to be outside where the weather's better, and I'd rather be in my routine of work. But we all need our space, because if we try to cram all of us in one area, we start to feel compressed. We start to feel, closed in. Some of us get claustrophobic. And if we start putting like a limited amount of stuff in there, okay? Everybody's wild run on toilet paper. Toilet paper. Of all things, people like went crazy, okay? And then when we get there, okay, when we when we looked at that, people were making runs on toilet paper, like literally running out and getting stuff. A lot of people, limited resource. Is toilet paper still a limited resource right now? Is it still limited? Yeah, we're still having problems getting enough of it, okay? We'll get there. We're going to answer your question on mutations in a little bit, okay? So the more spread out you are, the less you have to fight over stuff, okay? It's like having your own bedroom. It's great. Sharing with your brother or sister, not that much fun. Sharing space, not great, okay? It's kind of like when the teachers have like 28 of you in one room and they're trying to fight for, you guys are all fighting for attention, or you all have questions. It's really, 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 really tricky, okay? So it's important because you need to spread out, you need to get there. If you are too close, you're not going to grow. If you're too far, if you're far enough away, you'll grow. The more you spread out, the better you're going to be. The less you are able to spread out, the less able you are going to be able to survive. Okay? It's that simple. Okay? So, when we look at these things, we want to be able to spread out. Think about trees. They don't grow right on top of each other. Think about plants. They don't grow right on top of each other. Think about human beings. We don't grow right on top of each other. Okay? People who live in really urban, dense areas, you're packed in pretty tight. Most of us live in rural areas. We want space. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to build a seed dispersing device. That's going to be we are going to make sure that we have enough space, or we are able to spend or send our seeds everywhere that we possibly can. If we look at this, you're going to need a cotton ball. Sorry, I'm trying to manage a bunch of things and my brain's kind of going sideways. Sorry, guys. You're going to need a cotton ball. You're going to need a seed. I saw somebody ask about pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. It's okay. The only tricky part is the bigger the seed is, the heavier it is. The heavier it is, the harder it is going to be to control. All right? The more weight it is, we've learned, the harder it's going to be for it to work. Will duct tape work? You can try it. So we're going to start with the first thing here. I'm going to use my corn seed here. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate what to do. It'll only be about 5 or 6 more minutes. Okay, and we're going to talk about what a mutation is here. It's hard to do this one, guys, over Zoom. Some of these lessons are just really, really, really tricky to do because I can't watch what you guys are doing. You guys can't actually do this in real time with me like you would in class. It's just one of those snags that we've got. Yes, Zoom isn't the prettiest way to do things. Right now, it's the only thing we've got, okay? If you look at, okay, if you can't get to YouTube on that and Zoom with everybody else bothers you, that's fine. You can use that. There's so many options, all right? Or you don't have to jump in. You can check the video later. So if I switch here, okay, I'm going to switch my video, stop the share here, and we're going to go right here. I've got my cotton ball and my seed right now. What I need to do is I need to figure out a way to use my fan here, okay? And I'm going to point my fan kind of up and away. You see my house here. Woo, look at that nice hard oak wood floor, okay? A little dusty back there, okay? What I need to do is I've got my fan down here, okay? My goal is to launch my seed as far as I can. So if I were to do this, I'm going to turn it on as high power as I can. And what I want to do is I'm going to find where it is the heaviest amount of air. I'm not going to throw it because trees don't throw things. But if I let it go, let's see how far it actually goes. Let's see. That didn't work out so good. Try it again. Oh, that's not even a high power. Help if I turn it to high power. Okay, so that's how far it goes without any seed in it. Okay, that was just a clump of cotton. Now, can I make it so that it will fly further? Absolutely. What I want to do is I'm going to put my seed in here somehow, and I want to design this cotton ball to grab as much air as possible. You should have learned this from penny boats, that the more surface area you have, the more wind it can catch. But here's the tricky part. The more you work with this cotton ball with your hands, our hands have natural oil on them. The more you work with it, the more it's going to get matted down. You want to keep it as fluffy as possible, okay? If you do this, okay, let's say I'm going to stretch mine out. I'm going to make mine kind of fluffy, all right? I'm not trying to, like, do this. I want this as thin as I can, all right? I've got some problems, don't I? I've got some holes. Maybe I put my seed right here. There's going to be one issue if I do this. My seed's probably going to fall out, correct? Do seeds naturally fall out of seed pods when they land or when they fly? And the answer would be absolutely. They do. They just do, okay? So if I were to take mine right here, I'm gonna turn my fan on. I know it's kind of loud and obnoxious. Sorry, guys. All right, and I were to let this go, clear the runway, all right, and I let it go. Let's see how well it does. All right. That was better, But if you notice, did anybody notice that my seed actually flew out of there? It actually is not in there anymore. It actually bounced. Here's my seed pod right here. I know I've got great shoes on. I'm totally not working on things. But my seed rolled all the way out here into that. Okay? So my seed pod landed there, but my actual seed rolled out the door. So did that actually help me? Did that bounce actually help me? Yeah, it did. It really, 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 really helped me. Okay? So that's a good baseline. That's a good test. Maybe you want to mark that on your floor with, hey, here's how far it went. Maybe you want to, maybe just want to make a mental image of it. So that's the first thing. Get a baseline of how far you can make something go. Now, here comes the tricky part, and here comes the question about mutations. All right? Sometimes in nature, mutations happen. Okay? And in fact, mutations happen quite frequently. In fact, you're sitting there mutating right now. Okay? Every time that your cells divide, they have some mutations. Like 1 in every million cell divisions has a mutation. Most of the time, you don't even notice it. Most of the time, it doesn't cause any problem. Okay? A great example of a mutation is cancers. It's a mutation that causes the cells to just keep dividing and dividing and dividing without stopping. It's just the way that it is. In nature, sometimes a mutation can be really good. Like it could grow the plants taller, or it could produce more fruits on the vine. Let's say you're growing, let's say you're growing corn. Let's say you get a corn that mutates just a little bit, and instead of putting, the difference between in sweet corn, basic yellow sweet corn, now you've got the better one, which is my opinion, the yellow and white sweet corn. Agreed? Agreed. Yellow and white sweet corn is much better than regular yellow. That's just a fact. But the fact that you have yellow and white kernels on a seed or on an ear of corn is actually a mutation. It's just a change. Different colors are mutations. Okay? I didn't grab the right one. I actually have a popcorn, or kind of like a flint corn that you could grind into cornmeal. That's actually, it's called glass corn. It's multicolored. Every single kernel is a different color. It's kind of cool, right? Those are all mutations. Most of the time they're good. Or most of the time they're neutral, don't do things. Sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're good. That's okay. If you do have to go, people who have to go, some people are asking if they have to go, you have to go. I'm almost done. So here's what's going to happen. You can mutate your seed dispersal unit. However you need to do that, you do that. Your teacher could decide for you. You can decide for yourself. Okay, so here's where I started. My goal should be to make it better. And I'm just going to leave it hanging right here. I could maybe could I add another cotton ball to it? Sure, I could use 2 cotton balls and try it. Could I use, okay, my seed fell out. Could I use a piece of tape on there to hold my seed in there? Could I do that? Sure, okay. But remember, when you have tape, tape adds weight. Duct tape is heavier, much heavier than clear tape. Masking tape is somewhere in between. You could do that. I put a piece of aluminum foil. Aluminum foil would work. Okay, I don't have any up here. Again, you could use it to hold it in place. You could make it kind of a sheet. Or the one thing that I think might be a great idea, use a Kleenex. Okay. Could using a Kleenex help? Sure. Let me give you a couple ideas. You could maybe put it underneath of here. All right. Or maybe flip this over and try to put it together. I've seen some people kind of try to make it look like a dandelion seed, kind of like this, into a little bundle. Okay, that might work. I've seen it work pretty well if you can get it to work. I've seen people be successful with somebody said you could tie the Kleenex onto the seed. Absolutely. You could just say that it's completely changed and you can use the Kleenex with just the seed in there. Guys, there are so many different ways to think about this. It's okay. We all do things. Everything goofs up in the chat, guys. It's not a problem. I said it to just me, so we're not causing too many issues. Okay. Could you use aluminum foil? Absolutely, you could use aluminum foil. You wouldn't need much, maybe not more than 2 inches by 2 inches. Okay. Think about the size of your cotton ball. You don't want a whole lot of it. Remember, aluminum foil has mass and it's going to add weight. Okay. So feel free to change it and test it and see what you can come up to. All right. Freeman people, turn on your cameras. Mr. Floth can't see you anyway. Check the stream, guys. No one can see you anyway. Okay. You can't see your face. All right. So Mr. Floth wants to make sure that you're actually alive and living. So turn on your cameras. That'd be scary. Okay. Anyway, try it out. See what happens. Usually when we do this in class, we usually force some people to have mutations. In this case, I'm going to let you try it out. Try it outside in the wind. Okay. If it gets windy again, build it and try it. If you have a leaf blowers popped at a 45-degree angle are hilarious. Okay. They work really well because they blow a lot of air quick. Fans work well. You just need to make sure that you find the heaviest amount of air you can in the fan. And remember, don't throw it because plants don't throw it. You just need to drop it in front of the fan and it should take off. Usually when you look at a fan, guys, when you look at your fan, okay, on this fan of mine, just kind of give you a little bit of a hint. On this fan right here, the majority of the air is not on the outside edge. The majority of the air is right here where the highest wind speed is. So right here is where you're aiming for when you kind of drop it right here. You might have to try it. You might have to check it. I will tell you that the best one that I've seen, okay, I think I have had somebody whose seed pod, when they modified it, managed to float, I think, with the seed in it about 150 to 170 centimeters. And then I think the seed bounced and rolled forward and it made it about 200 centimeters. So almost 2 meters. That's about 6 feet. That is ridiculously good. If you can break 100 centimeters or 1 meter, which is about 3 feet, you're doing an excellent job. All right. So I know it's not as exciting as a regular DL lesson where you could actually do this and test it live and I could make suggestions and help you. This is just the way it's going to have to be for a while. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop everything here real quick. If you have